Welcome to This Explainer. If you're spending hours trying to learn English vocabulary but the words just aren't sticking, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into a completely science-backed, natural way to actually remember what you learn. Let's just validate a really common frustration right off the bat. Have you ever learned a brand new English word in the morning and literally completely forgotten it by dinner time? If you're not in your head right now, trust me, you're not alone. It's incredibly frustrating. But here's the secret. If you're forgetting words, your memory isn't broken. It's your method that needs a quick upgrade. Okay, so here's our roadmap for fixing this. We're going to move you away from the trap of rote memorization, break down 3 core steps to natural learning, look at some active practice techniques, highlight a few common mistakes, and finally build a super simple daily routine you can actually stick to.
So, part 1, the rote memorization trap and why the old ways just flat out fail. We've really got to start by dismantling this awful habit of just staring at long, boring vocabulary lists.
Think about how kids learn compared to adults. The old way, the adult way, right, is staring at dictionaries and trying to force memorization. And frankly, it doesn't work. Kids don't do that at all. The natural way is entirely different. Children hear words repeatedly in actual meaningful situations. They attach every new word to a vivid image, a feeling, or a real-life experience. When a word actually has meaning and context, your brain just eats it up and stores it so much more effectively. Moving right into part 2, building those meaningful connections. The big question is, how do we actually replicate that natural childhood learning process as adults? Well, the crucial secret here is building a strong foundation using 3 simple steps: context, a mental picture, and a personal connection. If you mimic that natural learning style, you're practically tricking your brain into storing the word long-term. Let's break these down one by one. Step 1 is context. Take a look at this sentence. Instead of trying to learn the word delicious totally in isolation, put it in a natural phrase like, "This pizza is absolutely delicious." Doing that helps your brain instantly wire the word directly to food and taste. You get a real feel for how the word naturally lives in a sentence. Then, the next time you're eating something amazing, delicious just automatically pops into your head. No stressful searching required. For step 2, you want to create a really vivid mental picture. Why? Because our brains are wired to remember images way better than abstract text. So if you're trying to learn the word whisper, don't just read the dictionary definition. Close your eyes and actually imagine 2 friends speaking quietly in a super dusty library, desperately trying not to get shushed by the librarian. Or if the word is mountain, picture this massive, snowy peak poking through the clouds. The bolder the image, the stickier the memory. And finally, step 3, personalize it. Let's say you're learning the word busy. Don't just repeat busy, busy, busy. Make up a sentence about your actual life, like, "I am always incredibly busy on Mondays." This step is pure magic because it gives the word an emotional hook. An emotional meaning makes memories incredibly strong. You're literally tying the English language to your own personal identity. All right, part 3, active memory practice techniques. Now that we've laid that foundation, we need to talk about moving these words from short-term memory into long-term memory using some seriously effective science-backed strategies. These are multi-sensory techniques that flip passive reading into active, usable knowledge. You've got spaced repetition, like catching a word on an app like Anki or Quizlet right at the exact moment you're about to forget it. You also absolutely should be speaking out loud to build up that muscle memory, jotting things down in a notebook, and just soaking in natural English through reading and listening. Let's actually zoom in on 2 of the most powerful ones here. First up is active recall. Look, instead of just staring at a word and passively thinking, "Oh yeah, sure, I know this," you actually have to make your brain sweat a little bit. Cover up the target word, look at the meaning, like very tired, and force yourself to produce the word exhausted entirely from your own memory. That tiny little moment of struggle, that's exactly the friction your brain needs to make the word stick permanently. Another absolute game changer is grouping words by theme. If you're tackling food vocabulary, learn words like spicy, sweet, bitter, and fresh all at the same time. Storing related words together creates this kind of mental web in your memory. It makes it incredibly easy to pull one specific word out of your brain when you're thinking about the broader topic. Moving right along to part 4, avoiding common mistakes and focusing on quality over quantity. Because before we set up your new study plan, we absolutely have to call out a few major pitfalls. Listen, you have to prioritize quality here. Please do not try to memorize 50 words a day. It's a trap, and they'll just evaporate from your mind anyway. Instead, practice 5 to 10 words, but do it deeply. Also, skip the ultra-rare complex words you're never actually going to use. Focus on practical, everyday words like schedule or improve. And finally, quit reading passively. Inject some emotion. If you're learning the word embarrassed, actively think of a hilarious, cringeworthy moment when you forgot someone's name. That emotional zap locks the word right in. Okay, part 5, your new daily routine, where consistency becomes your secret weapon. Let's tie all this fantastic science together into a super practical routine you can literally start today.
By just baking these simple steps into your day, you guarantee that you're doing way more than just passively reading. Learn 5 new words, create your own uniquely personal sentences, quickly review yesterday's words, and maybe listen to a short English podcast. You're seeing it, saying it, writing it, and actually using it in your real life. That is how the language becomes a part of you.
And you know what the absolute best part of this whole approach is? You literally only need 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes of this consistent daily exposure is infinitely more effective than locking yourself in a room for a grueling 3-hour study session once a week. Small steps, repeated consistently, are what actually move the needle.
So keep going, stay perfectly consistent, and really trust this process of building connections. Your English vocabulary is going to grow exponentially, one conversation at a time. I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If the old, frustrating way of rote memorization hasn't been working for you, what is stopping you from taking just 15 minutes today to start building a vocabulary that will actually last a lifetime?